I literally have no idea how this stream is going to go. I'm not kidding. I mean that in all sincerity. I literally have no idea how this stream is going to go. I am putting this one together on the fly. First question, can everybody hear me okay? I'm trying a new microphone thing, and I'm just seeing what happens here. So we'll find out here in a minute. Like I said, I literally have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth tonight. But my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. Welcome to Monday Musings, a little live stream that is done with y'all in mind to start your week. There's a lot of reasons why we're doing Monday Musings. Okay, now that I've got some in the room, can you actually hear me? That's my first question. Can anybody hear me? If so, give me something. Sound is good. Okay. Hey, Robert, since you're out there, do me a favor. I'm kind of tinkering around with some of the sound that I'm trying to do with this thing. Tell me something. I'm gonna roll through something and tell me if you hear a distinct puh. Okay, yeah, okay, all right, cool. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled. Yeah. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Is that P really just popping people over or whatever? I mean, the reason I'm asking this question, I'm trying to play around with the sound and just eliminate that. What feels like I'm smacking people whenever I'm using the letter P in a word. It's just bugging the crap out of me and has been for a while. So yeah, I'm like I say, I'm coming in a little discombobulated, and my apologies in advance to y'all. But anyway, my name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. This is Monday Musings. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. I am pop free. Woohoo! Yes! Finally. Oh my God. Okay. Y'all don't understand. Thank you. It's not popping. I thank God. Finally. Oh, that has been bugging the crap. But the volume's good. The sound is good. Let's just make sure about this. You know, but the sound's good. You guys can hear me okay. At this distance from the microphone, you're still no pops. Okay, cool. But is the volume okay? I mean, that's my next question, because I'm about maybe about a foot away from the mic. But you guys can pick me up okay. You're not having trouble hearing anything I'm saying, right? It's all good? 5 by 5. Okay. I'm going to assume that's good. Okay. All right. Okay. So the sound's coming through good, and there's no pops. Thank God. Oh, and the sound is good. Okay. All right. My unofficial engineer. Thank you, Robert. I genuinely appreciate it. And thank all of you guys for being here for what may turn into a regular thing. I don't know yet. I kind of have to explain, for those of you who are regulars on my show, and for those of you who are watching over on Rumble or on Twitter, maybe you're out there for the first time or whatever, I need to sort of give you, my viewers, an explanation of what happened last week as to why we're not able to do Front Porch Brunch, which is my usual live stream that I do on Saturday mornings. And I think when I get through with the explanation, you're going to kind of understand where I'm coming from. Well, thank you, Loser. I genuinely appreciate that. I genuinely do. Thank you very much. And thank you for all the retweets, getters, Truth Socials, everything y'all sent out about this very impromptu live stream. This one's been kind of, oh gosh, it's just been. So let me beg your indulgence for a moment and explain to you what happened to me last week. And I feel like I owe you that, because I mean, you guys are just huge supporters of the audience. You guys are so, oh, thank you, love. It's so good to see you. I'm back at it. Don't worry, darling. You can't keep a good man down. Of course, what that says about me is a whole other issue, but hey, there you go. Anyway, Michael J. Fox once said that everybody in life has their bag of hammers. In other words, the things they carry around, they got to deal with. Well, I've got any number of them. I know it's hard to believe, given my stunning good looks and my human specificity, that I'd ever have any problems. But one of them is every so often I get struck with a very painful affliction known as diverticulitis. And if you've never had it, it is for the lack of a better way of describing it, it is an irritation and inflammation of your intestinal region. And it can be very painful. And in my case, it started Wednesday of last week. And having dealt with this now several occasions, when I feel it coming on, I almost guarantee I know exactly what it is. And Wednesday, it kept getting worse. Finally, Thursday morning, I made the determination, screw it. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get them to see me, write me out some scripts for antibiotics, because that's how you deal with it. Okay. You take antibiotics for about 10 days to get the, infection under control. But the other thing you got to do is you cannot eat solid, or let me put it this way. It is recommended that you don't eat solid food. Okay. I've done that before. Not a lot of fun. It does have the benefit of clearing out the pipes, so to speak. Yeah, that's more or less it. And it irritates them, inflames them, infects them. Yeah, that's probably a good way to describe it. So apparently I got something stuck in my innards, for lack of a better way of describing it. And for the past, until Sunday, starting on Thursday, I have not had any solid foods. It's just liquids. And what makes diverticulitis kind of tough for what I'm doing is if you sit in a chair or you're folded over, let's say like this, it is very painful upon a person. Now, fortunately, I was able to get through my interview with Gothics on Thursday night, which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen that one yet, it's out on my channel's page, out on YouTube, on Rumble, various places. Thank you guys so much for making that. You guys absolutely just kicked butt putting out the word on that one. That conversation with Gothics was fantastic. She is one cool chick. So I got through the interview with Gothics. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Got through it, but when I stood up, right about, if you were looking straight at me right now, it'd be on this side. It'd be on my left, your right, at the belt line. I stood up and was like, oh, God almighty. Just pain. So I'd already told everybody at work that I was going to work from home, which fortunately the job I have affords me that luxury on occasion. And we also had bad weather coming in. So I decided, okay, screw it. You don't feel good anyway. You're going to be on a liquid diet. It's bad weather. Just work from home. And that's what I did. And I kept throwing it back and forth in my brain. Okay, do I really want to try and do this live stream Saturday morning? Or do I need to let this one go? And I thought, do the right thing here, dude. Let this go. Look. It's a long year. Or I should say a long time on the internet. Let's put it that way. It's going to be a long year. If you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good. The internet will go on without you. As more than one person has told me, by the way. And I said, you know what? Okay, let's play this smart. Let's table this one. Look, don't give away all my secrets. dude, I mean, seriously, don't tell everybody I'm out there hustling. Come on now. Help a brother out here. But I thought about it over the weekend and I was like, you know what? It's not really fair to you guys who have been following my channel and you support and you spread the word, you do everything you do. And I thought, we got to find some way to make this up. So that's when I told everybody, I was like, all right, we're going to try and do Front Porch Brunch on a Monday. I thought, well, you can't really call it Front Porch Brunch. So that sort of begs the question. If it's not brunch, what do you call it? Well, that's when I sort of, in my slightly warped mind, came up with the idea of Monday Musings. And that's what we're doing tonight. I've got some news items, some of them breaking very recently today. And some of them have happened over the past few days. One of them happened on Sunday. It's affecting a lot of what's going on. And a few items that, that I think you guys might want to keep an eye on or might want to talk about. So we're going to try and keep this stream to maybe, I don't know, hour 15, hour and a half. A little less than what we would do on Saturday morning. Because, it's everybody's first day back at work. You guys have lives, Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I try to keep it as creative as possible around here for a 52-year-old brain. So, the fact that the noggin still occasionally comes up with something, it's kind of nice to, nice to think about, It's like that line from Caddyshack. Oh, I got that going for me, which is good. So, and thank you. And I want, again, my sincerest thanks to you guys for your understanding of what I was going through. And, we'll have some fun tonight. We'll talk about some things. We'll see what happens out there. So, in the pasture in Musings. Oh, God. Oh, that is awful, but funny. Awful, but just atrociously funny. Yeah, you guys are the coolest audience on the internet. So anyway, let's get into some stuff by way of news. And like I said, we're out on YouTube, we're out on Rumble, we're out on Twitter. And hopefully everybody's going to have a lot of fun tonight. This is a very chill, relaxed sort of thing. Who knows? This may be the beginning of something. I don't know. I might decide to do this on a Monday evening on a regular basis. I have no idea yet. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, there are things in the news. And one of them that just broke in the past, I don't know, maybe 3 hours? Y'all heard about this? Divided Supreme Court grants Biden administration request to cut Texas razor wire. This one is well, I'll tell you what, let's just get into it. The article is written by a young lady named Sareen Habashian, and this is on Axios.com. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday granted the Biden administration's request to vacate an injunction in the Texas razor wire saga. The High Court sided with the Department of Homeland Security for now, after state officials had constructed a wire barrier to prevent migrant crossings. The justices granted the emergency appeal by a 5-4 vote, clearing the way for Border Patrol agents to remove razor wire fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border. Justices Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh dissented. The decision is the latest in a legal battle between the Biden administration and officials in the Republican-led state, including Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Texas officials installed miles of barrier using barbed wire and buoys along the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass in response to record numbers of migrants arriving at the border. The Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against Texas over the barriers last year. Texas sued the Biden administration in December in an attempt to stop agents from removing them. Representatives from the Biden and Abbott administrations did not immediately respond to Axios' request for comment. Oh, yeah. You got it. Yeah, that's what everybody said. What? And you're right. Texas could very well just ignore them. So let's talk about this for a minute. Had a phone conversation with a buddy of mine before I came on live, and he goes by the nickname Smiling Jack. He and I have known each other for 20 years. And I've got a feeling, and I've talked to him, and I've listened to various other people on this. This is one of those moments where I think the Supreme Court, everybody's just, it depends on where you are on this, that it's a short-term victory for the Biden administration. I don't know how long this is going to stand up. Now, here's what I'm getting at. This is basically the revoking of an injunction. Okay. Texas went to court to stop the Biden administration from cutting the wire. Texas made the argument, hey, we have the right to defend ourselves against invasion, which, by the way, U.S. Constitution guarantees that the federal government is supposed to protect the states from invasion. Court says no. On the question of immigration, the feds control the border, and the Texas looking back going, yeah, and they're not doing their job. What are we supposed to do? Nothing. From what I understand about this, and I got to dig into this thing deeper, and this is probably going to be the subject of a video. From what I understand about this, yeah, the full court heard it. They did it on a very expedited basis and ruled just on the question of, can the feds cut or not cut this razor wire? It's a short-term victory for the Biden administration. From what I understand of this, like I say, I don't think this is going to stand up when all the merits of the case are brought before the court. Now, everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean not just here, but in other places, are absolutely giving Amy Coney Barrett a lot of grief. And for the record, I don't disagree with you. For example, yeah, can't disagree with you there. Yep. Absolutely. There was one judge out there that, frankly, I really wish, if we could wind the clock back, would have been given way more consideration than what she does, or what she was at the time. And that was Barbara Lagoa. She's a district court judge out of Florida, federal district court judge. I mean, from a political standpoint, it would have accomplished the same thing. Female, but Cuban and Florida. Now, this is right around the election. And this is one of those moments where Trump got it in his brain, I'm going to do this. I told her I'd do this. Okay, hang on. All right, well, then okay, then there's the second option. I'd either forgotten or didn't realize about Allison. Okay. So there's at least two other options Trump could have gone with. One of them is the one I'm familiar with, which is Lagoa. And then up in Connecticut, it's like there's another one, Allison. And like I said, I'd either didn't realize about Allison or I'd forgotten about Allison, one of the two. So there's at least two other options Trump could have picked. But he went with Barrett because, by George, we were going to get, apparently I don't know if he promised her he'd put her on the court or what, but he was hell-bent for leather. He's going to get Amy Coney Barrett. Kind of reminds me of when they asked Dwight Eisenhower when he left the presidency, what are your regrets? He said, I have two of them, Earl Warren and William Brennan, who wound up being two of the most liberal men that ever sat on the Supreme Court. Oh, okay, Allison's her first name. All right. Okay, cool. Please do. So yeah, there's not a lot of joy in Mudville right now. And you can kind of understand why. Oh, Robert, dude, I do not disagree with you in the slightest. Like I said, my buddy Smiling Jack and I were talking about this, and he and I are more or less of the same opinion. At least initially. And that is, you can make an argument that the court made the right ruling, but the effect of it is practically lousy. That is, yeah, they're absolutely right. It's only the federal government that controls the question of immigration and border control. But on the other hand, they ignored the other part of the Constitution that says the federal government has the responsibility to protect the states from invasion. And to me, that's the higher priority. Good evening, Professor. Glad to have you here, sir. Welcome to these musings. And Christian, I've seen your tweets on this subject already, and can't disagree with you, brother. The feds are absolutely ignoring the states' rights to protect themselves, and more importantly, the feds are ignoring their constitutional responsibility to protect the states from invasion. So, like I said, technically, the Supreme Court is right. Yeah. The feds control the question of immigration. But again, they're turning a blind eye to the fact that the states are being invaded. And the states are simply trying to defend themselves. It's like, what do you want us to do? You're not doing your job. And you expect us to just stand here and watch millions of people come strolling across the border and us not lift a finger to protect the citizens of the sovereign state of Texas or New Mexico or Arizona or California? So yeah, this is a long way from being over, because if I had to guess, I'd say the Attorney General of Texas right now is working something. I can't prove it. I don't have anybody on the phone. I'll guarantee you this is not over, not by a long shot. So, and the other judge that up in Connecticut was thinking of that could have been the alternative to Lagoa, Allison Jones Rushing, graduated from Wake Forest in 2007, clerked for Neil Gorsuch. She was then put on the appeals court, as well as, I gotta look this one up. I gotta look her up. If she's that good, she ought to be on the short list if Trump gets another shot at it, assuming he wins. Oh, gosh. Let's see. He's got one other piece of information here. Hang on. While in law school in 2005, Rushing interned for the Alliance Defense Freedom, a group known for the opposition. Okay. All right. She's got bona fides. Cool. I like it. Possible. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. I hope they don't fold on this. They could. But I don't think this is over. No way. Because, again, as a matter of fact, hang on. I got to find this real fast. What I'm trying to find is that, and I should have done this before I got here, and I apologize in advance. Hang on. Here it is. I'm going to put this up here real fast. Fortunately, I was just able to find it. So hang on. Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit. And this, to me, this is from the U.S. Constitution. Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government, and here's the kicker, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or of the executive where the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. They are guaranteed protection against invasion. So I ask you, and Christians making this point, other people are making this point. It's like, what do you want us to do? We're watching hundreds of thousands every month, millions every year come across the border, and nobody's lifting a finger. Nobody's lifting a finger to stop them. Or I should say, the feds aren't. And if they are interacting with these people, it's to process them and just move them into the country even faster. What's Texas supposed to do here? I don't know. Loser, I am not sure what you're referring to, but drop me something in chat, because I may have heard about this, but it's just not ringing any bells with me. So that's what's going on at the Supreme Court right now, as if that's not interesting enough. Yeah, fun. Then we got this. If you thought things on the southern border were funny, hey, check this out. This is not funny, but going along with the section of the show entitled The Comedy of Errors, this is from U.S. Central Command. As part of the ongoing international efforts to respond to increased Houthi destabilizing and illegal activities in the region, on January 22nd at approximately 11:59 p.m. Yemen time, U.S. Central Command forces, along with UK armed forces, with the support from Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands, conducted strikes on 8 Houthi targets in Iranian-backed Houthi terrorist-controlled areas of Yemen. These strikes from this multilateral coalition targeted areas in Houthi-controlled Yemen used to attack international merchant vessels and U.S. Navy ships in the region. The targets include missile systems and launchers, air defense systems, radars, and deeply buried weapons storage facilities. These strikes are intended to degrade Houthi capabilities to continue their reckless and unlawful attacks on U.S. and U.K. ships, as well as international commercial shipping in the Red Sea, Bab al-Mandeb Strait, and the Gulf of Aden. These strikes are separate and distinct from the multinational freedom of navigation actions performed under Operation Prosperity Guardian. Great. So, as if we don't have enough trouble at the southern border, now we've got continued and more military operations going on over in the Middle East. Fantastic. Great. Just great. You know, for a first episode, you didn't realize this was going to be so uplifting and positive, did you? Forgive me, and I'm not trying to be a downer here. I'm really not. It just frustrates me to no end. We've got a president out there pushing the button and playing, some kind of weird form of video game warfare on a group of rebels. Yes, they are affecting shipping. I don't dispute that at all. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because what's going to happen sooner or later, and this is my worry, the Iranians who are backing the Houthi rebels in Yemen, and they've already started launching strikes in places that no one can quite figure out. Well, I shouldn't say quite figure out why. They're launching strikes, and the Iranians are launching strikes into Pakistan, etc. I'm just scared to death. This administration is going in what they're doing in Israel as it relates to Hamas. I'm just scared to death this administration is just going to take one step too far and get us into a war with Iran. Which, for the record, there are people in Washington, D.C. that have been itching to go to war with the Iranians for decades. And this just might be the escalation point they need to make it happen. And it scares me to death because, I mean, look, everybody here knows somebody in the military, or they've got a friend and their family members in the military. I mean, sitting around on the internet having discussions about, the consequences of this policy or this law or, this court case or whatever is one thing. This kind of stuff has the potential to get American soldiers killed sooner or later. And just frightens me to death. Now, is there anything I can do about it beyond voting and giving my opinion? No, not really. But man, it just definitely causes somebody like me to get very nervous. Because it doesn't take much. It kind of reminds me, I'm sure most people here have seen the film Hunt for Red October. There's a scene, if you remember the movie, there's a scene where an airplane is trying to land on an aircraft carrier out in the Atlantic, has trouble and crashes and whatever. And the admiral on the aircraft carrier, who's played by the late Fred Thompson, says to no one in particular as he's watching the fire on the deck, he says, "This thing is going to spin out of control and people are going to get killed." And when this kind of news comes across, that's the very scene I go back to. It's that quote. This thing is going to spin out of control and people are going to get killed. And the sad part about it is this isn't a movie. This is real life. And I really wish some people in Washington, D.C. would think about that before they start doing what they're doing. Because the problem is, it's not their lives that are on the line. It's going to be some other soldier out there who's the son or daughter of somebody else. Wow, this is a really happy stream. Sorry. But it's got to be said. I'll try and check that out. I will try and check that out. I'd like to see that. I don't always agree with Levin, but I wouldn't mind seeing what he's got to say on this. Anyway, that's those two topics were just, I mean, like I said, the news on this stuff is just broken in the past little bit. So I want to try and, put something out there, let you guys know what's going on, etc. And see what's happening. So if you're just joining us or you happen to be passing by and you're popping your internet head in the door, my name is Brian Trippett and I am the Front Porch Conservative. This is the very first, and given how happy the tone is, maybe the only showing of Monday Musings. But now, the more I'm thinking about, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe we'll see. I mean, tell me what you guys think. Trust me, this one got put together on the fly. Yeah, fair point. Thank you, Leah. I appreciate that. I do. One of my favorite lines from Princess Bride. Marriage. We are gathered here today. Had an old girlfriend of mine used to love that line. Well, hello. You old son of a gun. You old so-and-so. Glad to have you. Anyway, we're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Twitter. And a minute mask. Oh, great. Here come all the Princess Bride references. That's fabulous. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Twitter. And like I say, this show that we're doing tonight, I kind of threw together, I won't say completely last minute. There's some stuff I want to talk about. But this is definitely not going to be one of those better, smoother, oh my gosh, it's so good live streams. So, so if you're out there on YouTube, on Twitter, on Rumble, etc. So thank you very much for stopping in tonight. I genuinely appreciate it, because there's a million and one places on the internet where you guys could go, but the fact you guys are hanging out with me is pretty daggone cool. So let's talk about one of the other pieces of news that's happened. And I'm sure by now you guys have more than heard about this one. But if you haven't, well, guess what happened Sunday afternoon? Check this out.
Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope that decline is a choice and that we can, in fact, succeed again as a nation. Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign.
And with that, he was out. So DeSantis is gone. He's out of the race. And I've got some thoughts on this. I want to get you guys' takes. So, yeah, drop your comments in chat. Oh my gosh, look who's here. Hello, mommy. If you happen to be over on Rumble, we are honored by the presence of the Forest Mommy. Jessica, my love. As always, you're fine like wine. Glad to have you here, dear. So he's out. And drop your comments in chat, because like I say, I want to hear what you guys' take on this. The fact that he got out, I'm not surprised by. The fact he did it within 48 hours of the New Hampshire primary, now that shocked me. From my part, I figured DeSantis would get out sometime after New Hampshire, but sometime before the Nevada caucuses, which come up in February. Okay. The fact that he got out doesn't surprise me. Number one, his campaign was flying on fumes. Absolutely flying on fumes. Okay. He had no money. His campaign finance people were trying to figure out some very creative ways to keep him going. Yeah, $100 million or more just burn through. Absolutely burn through. So yeah, they were out of money. And given that Donald Trump basically held everybody by the political nose and kicked them in the political rear end all over Iowa, that even though he came in second place, DeSantis didn't win a single county in Iowa. And on top of that, finished 30 points behind. The fact that he didn't even win a single county in Iowa, finished 30 points behind, etc. I'm not surprised he dropped out. I'm just surprised at the timing. Now, a couple of more minutes into this video of his, and he goes on to endorse Trump. So now it's down to Trump and Haley. And people are kind of asking the question, so where does DeSantis' vote go to? Well, the pollster that I follow in these matters is Rich Barris, the People's Pundit. About 60%, in his estimation, about 60% of DeSantis' vote is going to go toward Trump, off from DeSantis over to Trump. They ain't going to Haley, especially given the fact that DeSantis, in no uncertain terms in that video, goes on to just smack Nikki Haley around verbally as he's walking around out the door. I said smack around verbally, YouTube people, overlords, censors, whatever. Didn't say he did it physically, but he verbally smacked her around. Basically saying, hey, we got to have Trump because there ain't no way we can tolerate Nikki Haley. And she has graced us with her presence. Could be, yeah. I'd say YouTube's probably more live. Probably the better way to say it. Hello, Jessica. So I'm not surprised that the DeSantis got out. Just that it's the timing of it that gets me. Now the other thing to consider, and I'll show this to you guys. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, here we go. New Hampshire primary. Let's just be generous and say DeSantis was getting maybe 7% in New Hampshire. You figure 60%, what is that, like 4.5? That's just going to bolster Trump's total. There's a distinct possibility that come tomorrow night, Trump might crack 60 in New Hampshire. Because I mean, and the reason in part that I say that, all this tracking polling that's been done, it just, to me, is just kind of amazing because you can just see Trump picking up speed. You can see him picking it up. So yeah, he's out. And it's now down to Trump and Haley. And for anybody who's watching, and for those of you who will watch this maybe a little bit later, there's going to be a live stream that I do tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Christian Watson's going to be on it with me. Christopher Haynes is going to be on it with me. Brent from the Dangerous Rhetoric podcast and Chad Manley, and there may be a couple more. I'm going to send out invites to Crash Mondo and to Cam from Flagrant Triggers if they want to come on. Love to have both of them. They'd be great. I mean, I'm all for the party. But we're going to be watching the results come in, and this, if what's about to happen tomorrow night is what I think is about to happen, what's the best historic analogy that I can give to this? It's going to be that moment for the Confederate Army when they realize they need to go to Appomattox and surrender. Translation: if Trump does what I think he's about to do tomorrow night, then it would not shock me if Nikki Haley gets out somewhere 48 to 72 hours after New Hampshire, because there's nowhere else for her to go. I mean, and I've mentioned this before, and again, I didn't pull it up. If you look at the polling coming out of Nevada, Trump's leading by anywhere from 40 to 60 points out there. You look at South Carolina, he's winning by anywhere from 25 to 30, and that's her home state. There's nowhere else for her to go and get the votes. There's no other state, primary or caucus, that she can win. It's either, I mean, if Iowa was Ron DeSantis' last stand, in other words, he's got to win Iowa, then the same is true on the other side for Nikki Haley. She's got to win New Hampshire. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to set a false expectation with what I'm about to say next. She's got to win New Hampshire, or honestly, this is over. It's done. She's out. There's no place else for her to go and win. Oh yeah, Robert, I absolutely agree with this. She's won a one-on-one contest. Oh, now she's got it. Well, okay. Take your, I am full of movie references tonight. I really am, because this makes me think of another movie reference. Another movie I love, Lethal Weapon. There's a scene where Mel Gibson looks at Gary Busey and says, "You want to take a shot at the champ? Come on." And Gary Busey says, "Don't mind if I do." Haley wanted this. She wanted it one-on-one with her and Trump. She's got it. Well, be careful what you wish for, because right now, that old steam locomotive has a head of steam on it, and he's moving down the track. So, oh yeah, Lethal Weapon's a great movie. Absolutely great movie. So, and that's the phrase that I say more often than not these days. I'm too old for this shit. Absolutely true. Oh my gosh. So yeah, DeSantis is out. But I will say this, and I cannot disagree with this take. And this is by John Rich, the country singer. I'm going to show you guys a tweet, and I'd like to get y'all's take on this. Let me put this up here. When the guy you just endorsed, talking about Trump, has been raided, indicted, spied upon, and incessantly beaten with the baton of communism, and you ran against him anyway, you assisted the system we are trying to take down. Ron's words ring hollow. Should have waited till 2028. Hate to say it, but, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Oh, God. You are out. You are out of your gourd. Well, thank you, though. Thank you, though. Yeah. All right. You want to endorse Trump now? Fine. But, hey, you didn't do the guy any favors. Especially, and here's the part that galls a lot of people, and I don't disagree with them. Reportedly, and again, no, I never saw this anywhere in any official publications. I can't point you to the article, whatever. Supposedly, DeSantis, in so many words, told Trump he wouldn't run against him. And he did it anyway. More explicitly, Nikki Haley told Trump she would never run against him. Did it anyway. I saw somebody, I think it was Loser, earlier in the chat, said he's kind of hoping that Trump takes DeSantis as the Veep. The irony of it, Loser, the irony of it, if DeSantis, at a minimum, if Ron DeSantis had never said anything, would have defended Trump, maybe not even endorsed him, but just would have defended him, chose not to run, stay down there in Florida, be the governor, I won't guarantee that DeSantis would have been the Veep, but I'd say he'd have been in top three consideration. That's all DeSantis would have done. Don't run against Trump and don't badmouth him. And if something comes up where he needs help, help. And then just wait. You know. I mean, I heard it best described by Robert Barnes last night. Trump doesn't mind competition, but he doesn't like a liar and doesn't like disloyalty. Can't necessarily argue against that. So you got that going on. And I will point you guys to a really good article. If you want a really good something that came out in the past couple of days, there's a really good article in Politico. And I found this. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of it, but there's some really good points about why it was that this may have been one of the worst run campaigns in history. I mean, the irony of it, 8 years ago, Jeb Bush, W's brother, the governor of Florida, interesting historical comparison, ran a very similar campaign, used a very priced Washington, D.C. consultant by the name of Mike Murphy. I think raised over $100 million. And for all of Jeb Bush's efforts, he got three delegates. Three. Basically, he spent $33 million each for those delegates. Fast forward 8 years, Ron DeSantis is given $100 million or more, hires a D.C. consultant in Jeff Rowe, probably got the same or fewer delegates than Jeb Bush did, and is out before the New Hampshire primary. You would think people would learn from history. Apparently not. Okay. Fair point. But then again, I would like to respectfully point out one thing. And again, I'm not trying to get into a back and forth with you on this one, loser, but to play the devil's advocate, when Trump got wind of what DeSantis was getting ready to do, I'd have been pissed too. Especially considering that he wouldn't even be governor of Florida if it weren't for Donald Trump. But anyway, this is an article in Politico. I recommend it to you. It's written by, let me find the author on this. Two authors, actually, Kurt Anderson and Alex Castellanos. It's written about 3 days ago. So I recommend it to you. Actually, I know who Alex Castellanos is. I've seen him on CNN before. Pretty good guy, actually. But yeah, I recommend it to you. I recommend it. So anyway, DeSantis is out. Goodbye. Fare thee well. And another point to stop and think about, when he goes back down to Florida, let me tell you something. That boy's in for a world of hurt. And the reason that I say that is he's got, not necessarily of his own making, but his lack of attention on them. He's got some legislative issues he's got to deal with down there. And given the fact that he's been away presidential campaigning, he's not necessarily the king of the roost anymore. Oh, he's still governor, don't get me wrong, and he's still the leader of the Republican Party in Florida by elected title. In other words, he's the governor, so he's the highest ranking elected Republican official in the state. but his sway over Florida Republicans in the legislature might be a little shaky. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So let's see. Oh, yeah, one other article from Politico. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is the part that cracks me up. It's like, why DeSantis' exit could hurt Nikki Haley in New Hampshire. You think? Of course it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt like hell. He is absolutely going to, I mean, Trump is absolutely, you know what? I don't know that, well, I got to think about this. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be able to give away a prize or anything. I don't know what I could do, but I think we ought to ask the audience that night and ask the fellow panelists how quickly after the polls close in New Hampshire, which I think they are closing at 8 o'clock, if I remember reading it correctly, at what moment will the race be called for Trump? That would be funny to see. I would be very curious. I think, matter of fact, I think we are going to do that tomorrow night. It just hit me, and it sounds like a really good idea. I mean, like I say, I don't know what that means, but I think it'd be fun. We'll probably do it. Oh, so what else goes on in the world? Oh, yes. Getting to some news a little bit late that I would have gotten to. You're absolutely right, Leah. They're going to call it early. My question is, 10 minutes after the polls close, 15, 20. I'd be, like I say, there would be no money involved, not necessarily any prizes, but I'm going to be very curious to see at what point they call it tomorrow night. So we'll see. We will see. So here's some news that we would have otherwise gotten to on Saturday had not my body decided to kick me in the butt. The World Economic Forum. Thank God that there are people in the world who apparently feel like that they have all the good ideas that are needed to make your life and mine better, and all we have to do is just listen to them and do everything they tell us to do, whether we like it or not. And the WEF is one of those things that I look back on now, and I really wish 30 years ago we'd have paid more attention to. Good evening, sir. Glad to have you stop by. Glad to have you here. Oh, hey. I'm going to send this out to everybody, but I'm going to send this to you and Crash too. We've got that live stream going tomorrow night. If you want in on it, I will send you the link. If you can't, that's cool. But just let you know, you're invited if you want to pop in for however long. Anywho, the World Economic Forum. Thank God for these people. And I wish the guys like me would have paid more attention to idiots like that. Oh, hang on a minute. Robert, you just brought up a really good idea. We'll change stories instead of calling it. Oh, Robert, you just gave me another really good idea. And I will let you guys get a heads up on this right now. And I'm going to ask for your help tomorrow night, but I'll go ahead and let you know what I've got in mind. Like I said, I figured this race is going to get called early. But what I want to see is the reaction on places like MSNBC and CNN and Fox. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do if you find it. If you find, let's say, 20 or 30-second clips, and maybe a little longer, maybe 45 seconds or whatever, on MSNBC, CNN, etc., where people are giving their commentary about, what does all this mean? The fact that Trump has won New Hampshire. send them to us. We'll play them. We'll play them live. I have no problem doing that. I think it'd be fun. I really do. I think it'd be fun. They might. They might still cover it. We'll see. I mean, I could be absolutely wrong, but I'll be very surprised if they don't. But yeah, if you find 20, 30, 40-second clips of the mainstream media commenting on the results of the New Hampshire primary, especially if it's really goofy, okay, send that to us in a link. Because, I mean, I'll tell the other guys who are going to be on the panel tomorrow night about what we're doing. But, you know, if you find it, send it to us. You know, I think that would be fun. I think that'd be a fun way for the audience to interact on this thing. But anyway, getting back to the World Economic Forum. I wish the guys like me would have paid attention to the WEF 25, 30 years ago, or when it very first got started. I've always said that I think conservatives made an enormous mistake in the 1990s. And it was this. We didn't drink enough water. No, I'm kidding. I think one of the biggest mistakes we made in the 90s is after the Republicans won the Congress in 94, everybody sort of assumed that right-leaning conservatism had won. The problem was we'd won politically, we hadn't won culturally. And when people on the left started doing really crazy stuff, as opposed to explaining why it was a bad idea to listen to them, we just laughed at them. And that crazy took hold, and conservatives forgot one of the most important rules of life. A lie will become the truth in the absence of somebody telling the truth. And lo and behold, things like the World Economic Forum slips in. So last week, the WEF met in Davos, Switzerland, which was great if you're in the industry of prostitution. Because apparently hookers flock to Davos about like the swallows come back to Capistrano. You know, what can I tell you? Girls got to make some money. But in the midst of everything they were doing there, they came up with these wonderful ideas about life for you and me. Here's one just example. Listen to what they consider to be really relevant about life. Okay, I found this clip and I'll play it for you. Check this out.
We'll be having our coffee before the session, and you raised the coffee example. I'd love just to give you the chance to expand on that.
Basically, the coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. So we should all know that this is every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere. One of the reasons is because most of the coffee plantation, or most of the coffee is produced through monoculture. And monoculture is also affected by climate change. The quality of these nature assets is deteriorating quite rapidly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, they've come after gas stoves. They've come after everything else. Now they're coming for your coffee. That's right, folks. The World Economic Forum is absolutely convinced that coffee is contributing to climate change. We are causing damage to the environment by the fact that we drink coffee. So, I think it is incumbent upon us as responsible citizens of the globe to forsake the morning cup of coffee. Exactly. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But that wasn't the only piece of wisdom they were passing out. You know, just here's another one for you. I mean, let me tell you, the ideas that these people come up with is just absolutely astounding. Check this one out.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more, so we can come together and design and do beautiful things together.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful things, huh? Well, let's continue.
The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less.
Well, given what we went through during the coup, you can't exactly blame us now, can you? I mean, after all, you only tried to lock every human being on planet Earth down for X amount of time. You took away freedom, you took away liberty, you took away economic prosperity, all in the name of listening to people like you. So, kind of think you ought to understand why we don't trust people who tell us that how we ought to live, especially if they are over us.
So we can lead, but if people aren't following, we're not going to get to where we want to go.
Thank God. Well, at least there's one person out of Davos that's got a little bit of sense. Of course we don't trust elites. I mean, I was being something of a smart aleck there a minute ago, but I mean, I don't think I'm too far off the mark. I mean, you told everybody around the world that a virus, of which there were individuals who, shall we say, didn't fully disclose what they knew about the origins of said virus. They told us this virus was going to kill X number of millions of people all over the world. And then in order to combat said virus, we had to lock ourselves in our homes, shut down our businesses, put masks on our kids, give up freedom, generally and economically. And then we found out after it was all said and done that all the things we gave up, all the things we did, and the lengths that we went to weren't all that necessary. I've heard an economic estimate that says that China owes the United States roughly, what is it? About 20 or $25 trillion in economic reparations for all that we suffered because of the coronavirus. I'm pretty sure we're never going to see a dime of that money come out of China, but I'd at least like an apology. At a minimum, I'd love to hear people like her say 3 words. I was wrong. I'd like just 3 words. I was wrong. And then 3 more words. I am sorry. Is it going to make up for everything that we lost? Loved ones who died? Everything else? Nope. But it might take some of the sting off of it. Oh, and by the way, to the elites out of Davos and other places around the world, it's not going to be forgiven. And for some people, most assuredly, it will never be forgotten. So you just chew on that. One more little clip from Davos. Yeah, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Hang on. This one, I categorize this one in the realm of, wow, this is weird. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Oh yeah, the witch doctor. By the way, did y'all see this? Did y'all see the witch doctor at Davos? This had to be one of the weirdest things I've ever watched. I'm going to pull this up. Check this out. And here we go. Bless you. You want your woman what? Again, bless you. But you want your women to do what?
Why should I?
Why should you what? Well, she's a lot of sneezes. Now you're sneezing on people. Sneezing on him. Oh, God. Yeah. Coughing man. Achoo! Achoo! Makes me think of Dave Chappelle's character from Robin Hood Men in Tights. Achoo? Bless you. And my father was a sneeze. Gotta love Mel Brooks. Jeez. Chief coughs all the time. Oh, come on, Force Mommy. You're out in Colorado. You got to have one for this. Come on. Put it in there. Come on, Jessica. Yes. Now, see, but I bring this up in part. Don't laugh at these guys and don't dismiss them. Keep your eyes on them. You know, I mean, Jessica's here with us tonight, and I'm glad she is. I mean, I'm glad for everybody's here. But man, you know, Jessica makes this point, and Forced Mommy is absolutely right. Keep your eyes on these weirdos because they're going to come for your freedom. They're talking about coffee produces CO2, and you know, we got Chief Cough While Talking here. I mean, these people are just, you know, these weirdos will come for your freedom in a heartbeat. Keep your eyes on them. No, I did not see this. I didn't. Hey, if you got the clip, drop it in chat. I'll play it. You know, if you got it, let me see it. I think that'd be hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. But yeah, so yep, that's what goes on in Davos. Yeah, buddy. So if you're dropping in, swinging by on the internet, poking your head through, my name's Brian Trippin on the Front Porch Conservative, and we're here on Monday Night Musings. Like I say, we're kind of hanging out. We're trying this out for the first time. Might make this a regular thing. I don't know yet. This year for me is going to be extremely busy. Which is like I say, Cam Flagrant Triggers out here has been very gracious in his comments to me, and you know, the channel's growing and everything else, but man, as far as like getting a regular rhythm set up for what I'm doing at this point, it's a little rough. So, but yeah, I'm having a load of fun this year. It's going to be a load of fun this year. So yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, we're hanging out together. Thanks for the tweets and the retweets and sending out the link out to everybody, whatever. Yeah, this is a load of fun. So I tell you what, we're getting down to a handful of stories that I call Nightcap news. If this were Saturday morning, this would be HodgePodge Stew. Those stories that are interesting to me, maybe not the biggest things going on, but they are interesting nonetheless. So, oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. Yeah, it's going to be a wild year. Oh, Jessica, I absolutely agree with that, darling. I absolutely agree with that. It's going to be so entertaining. But yeah. So I guess for my first Nightcap news story, I'm about to do a Jen Psaki. I'm about to circle back. Okay. I don't like it when someone plays one of two cards in a political discussion. Okay. Oh, bless you. You sweetheart, you. Bless your heart. Yeah, I'm monetized now. Not fully, but I am monetized, so. Oh, no, don't worry about it. It's all good. Don't worry. It's all good, dear. All good. And that's very sweet of you. It's very kind. I'm still trying to get used to, shaking the cup and saying, well, if you want to drop some coin in, but bless your heart. Yeah. Professional broadcaster, I am not. So I'm, just learning as I'm going. So, but bless you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, if anybody, again, do not do anything irresponsible. But if you have some extra coin in your cup and you want to drop it in, you're not going to hurt my feelings in the slightest. So bless you. Thank you, Jessica. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. There are two cards that I hate being dropped in a political discussion. One of them is the race card, and the other is the woman card. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I don't like Nikki Haley as a political candidate. And let me be very careful here. People are going to say, oh, you don't like her because she's a woman. That has not a thing in the world to do with it. I have said this to family members in private conversations. I have said this to anybody else who'll listen. I have not a problem, one, with the idea of a woman president. Doesn't bother me at all. Just as long as we agree on the issues, or at least most of the issues, okay, I can get down with the idea of a woman president. And I don't have a problem with the idea of a president of a different race than I am. Not a problem with it at all. If I agree with you on the issues, or most of them, would I have the problem of an Indian woman who's an American citizen being a president? Nope. But it's the way Nikki does it. And that brings me to this clip. Now, have y'all seen this where she's talking about her and beauty pageants back in the day? If you haven't, check this out, because this is going to blow your mind.
If you want to know what it was like growing up, I was disqualified from a beauty pageant because I wasn't white or black, because they didn't know where to put me. So look, I know the hardships, the pain that come with racism.
Okay. I got to play that one again. Because I don't care how many times I listen. That one just still smacks me in the teeth. So I'm going to do, my apologies, I'm going to do this again.
If you want to know what it was like growing up, I was disqualified from a beauty pageant because I wasn't white or black, because they didn't know where to put me. So look, I know the hardships, the pain that come with racism. If you
Now you begin to understand why I don't like someone like her. I live in West Virginia, which is the top end of the South. I have known people who have lived in the South for decades. Does racism still exist? Yeah, we're human beings. There's a level of stupid out there that, exists that, you could be a racist. Are we a racist country? And is there a whole region of the country that's still racist? Nope. Uh-uh. Nope. 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 That kind of cheap pandering, dropping the race and the woman card. I mean, like I said, I got a lot of reasons why I don't like Nikki Haley as a candidate. But if I were still even thinking about voting for her, that right there would have sealed the deal for me. I wouldn't do it. You just crossed a line that's just, God. I mean, loser. Yeah. Let's just get right down to it. Insipid, insufferable. No, she's just stupid. The woman is just stupid. I don't give a damn about her politics. That is just stupid. She is just stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly, Jessica. Exactly. And yeah. This is historically true. This is absolutely historically true. Yeah, there were race riots in Boston. Oh, hell, I'll do you one better than that, Connecticut. How about the Rodney King riots out in the 90s out in Los Angeles? How about the George Floyd riots? Really? We want to go here? I know what it's like to suffer from racism. Oh, give me a break, lady. What the hell ever? Please go over in the corner and shut the hell up. God bless it. Sorry, I mean, Christian Watson said it the other day on our live stream when we were covering Iowa. He said, I can only stand just so much stupid, and I am just like him. There's only just so much stupid I can tolerate. And that is more than enough. It is absolutely more than enough. Oh. Okay, before my blood pressure starts going up. Yeah. Darling, I'm sure there are other things that you could say, and we're not going to, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so you guys heard about what's going on with Fani Willis? Oh God. It's amazing to me. It is amazing to me that any of these 4 indictments against Trump are even still going forward. But the one out of Atlanta, Georgia is the one that's cracking me up the most. And here's why I say that. I mean, first of all, the whole thing that, the president and others conspired to violate, RICO statutes in the state of Georgia is just cracking me up. But what now is coming out is that old Fanny Pack, as I lovingly refer to her, Fanny Pack Willis, the lead prosecutor that's going after Trump, how shall I put this? The relationship between the lead prosecutor and Fanny Pack may be a little bit more than professional, or as we say here in the South, there may be some heeing and sheeing going on. Because it turns out that the lead prosecutor is currently going through a divorce, bless his heart. And the soon-to-be ex-wife is going after Fanny Pack, claiming that she's the homewrecker. Now, lest you think that... Now, how all this got started, one of the defendants in the Georgia RICO trial, it's not Trump, by the way, not Trump. His lawyer filed a document with the court and stating, hey, there is evidence of collusion between the J6 committee and the White House, et cetera, and so on. Well, it turns out billing records come out from this guy that Fanny Pack has leading the charge against Trump, where he billed about $2,000 worth of work because of meetings he took at the White House. Well, after that came out, then came out this whole thing about, you know, oh gosh, I just thought of it. I just thought of the theme song that if I could figure out how to get around the copyright stuff, I ought to do as the Fannie Willis theme. Do you remember the Marvin Gaye song, Let's Get It On? Oh, that's great. That's exactly what we should do. Anytime I give a Fannie Willis update, I ought to play Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. Oh my God. I'm an evil son of a gun. I really am. So I'm sorry. Anyway, so the soon-to-be ex-wife of the lead prosecutor on the Trump case is accusing Fanny Pack of being a homewrecker. Well, today in court, judge unseals documents in the divorce case. And Fanny's deposition, she was supposed to be deposed in all this. Apparently the judge has decided not to do that. I want to read a little bit of this article because this is just too funny. A judge on Monday ordered court records on the divorce proceedings of a special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, who is handling the Georgian election interference case against former President Donald Trump, be made public and delay the decision on whether Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis will be deposed. Cobb County Judge Superior Court Henry Thompson ruled that he was vacating a previous order that kept records of the divorce proceedings sealed. That is what Ashley Merchant, who represents the former Trump campaign and one-time White House aide Michael Roman, had asked the court to do. Quote, I find that the prior order, although it was by consent parties, was not properly entered because the Uniform Superior Court rules require a hearing to be had. We can find no evidence that any such hearing was ever had, so I'm going to grant the motion vacating the consent order sealing the record, and I'll do that today. I have your written order. Thompson later addressed Cinque Axum, a lawyer for Willis, saying that the court would not yet decide on whether the DA will be deposed. Willis's deposition was originally set for Tuesday, but the judge said he first wants to hear from Nathan Wade on allegations of an extramarital affair directly during an evidentiary hearing in the divorce case set for January 31st. Okay. Y'all realize where this is going? Now think about this for a second. First, he's got to testify on whether or not he was having an affair with Fannie Willis. Don't you think that the soon-to-be ex-wife's lawyer is not just sitting there going, just waiting to get him under oath? Because he lies. I mean, think about how bad this is. I mean, this is drama this is like, I don't know, Beverly Hills 90210 whatever kind of soap opera drama you want to think up in your mind, this is it. I mean, this is just straight crazy. I mean, if he lies and they catch him in that, that's perjury. And he is out there, he's out there trying to prosecute Trump. Now, here's another kicker to it. They just unsealed documents. Okay? Boy, don't you really want to wait and see what's in some of that stuff? Okay. Now I on this I see your point. I see your point. But I slightly disagree with you. Yeah, it's liberty to one person in that it does affect Trump and the other defendants in the Georgia trial. But it hopefully puts prosecutors like Fani Willis on notice. No, you're not going to do this crap. You're not going to do this. So I slightly disagree. That's okay. I still love you. But yeah, we got this going on. So this will be funny. Oh. Speaking of liberty, did y'all hear about Dana White? I got to play this for you guys. Hang on, let me pull this up real quick. Oh God. All things in the universe are possible, but not all things are highly probable. I'm sorry. If I were married to Melania Trump, ain't no reason in the world for me to go stepping out on that. Nope. Nope. Sorry. I get to wake up beside of that every morning? Are you crazy? Why would I want to go anywhere else? Anyway, laying aside my potentially male sexist chauvinistic comments. So Dana White, UFC was up in, I guess, Canada. And I'm sure you guys heard about the Sean Strickland comments. So Dana White's being interviewed. The president, CEO of... Hey, what's up, Hunter? Good to have you here tonight, Mood. Anyway, so he's up there and he gets a question put to him. Now, talk about standing up for liberty. Check this out. This made me real happy.
About, like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash?
Like...
Free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe.
Absolutely love to see it out of Dana White, backing freedom of speech. Here in America, we have our First Amendment, and it's good to see him not trying to cancel or fire or admonish or punish his employees for sharing their own opinion. Leave a like in this video and let me know what you think down in the comment section down below, and just give it a share if you're a big fan of free speech.
Well, I didn't realize he was going to be there, but hi, Jeremy. So, yeah. I love that comment from Dana White. That was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I just thought I'd pass that one on. Two. There are two stories. One I'll do that's a little bit sad. And did you guys hear about this? Again, this is from Central Command. 2 Navy SEALs have been missing for 10 days. And the bodies have not been found. They declared them, they've gone from MIA to declare dead. I bring this up to ask you this question. Have any of y'all heard about this on the mainstream media? I haven't. If I hadn't found this on Twitter, I never would have known. Never would have known. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I was going to get the whole clip. My apologies. But yeah. So yeah, that story about the 2 Navy SEALs. Like I said, if it weren't on Twitter, I never would have heard about it. Because you're not getting that on the mainstream media. Anyway, one last story and I'll wrap it up for the night. And by the way, for everybody who's here on YouTube, on Twitter, on Rumble, you guys are awesome. And thank you for putting up with me, the growing pains of this little live stream I decided to do now. Like I said, I intended this to be a makeup session for the Front Porch Brunch on Saturday that I missed because of illness. But the more I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of liking this idea. Kind of like a Monday evening thing, kind of like a way to help everybody, including me, help me kick off the week too. Because I love doing videos, don't get me wrong, but 4 or 5 nights of that, and it's like, ugh. So anyway, one last story. And this one's kind of an uplifting thing. If you guys heard about this, I don't have a whole lot of details on this, but apparently there is a convoy that's being organized, starts on about a week from now, and it's going to be traveling to places like Eagle Pass, Texas, Tucson, Arizona, San Diego, etc., calling all truckers, bikers, law enforcement, veterans, military, elected officials, business owners, ranchers, and freedom-loving Americans. The time is now for we the people to peacefully assemble in honor of our constitutional right to call on our government to take action to secure our borders. Make your voices heard. Roll with us. Take our border back.com. Just saw this. So yeah, thought I'd pass along to you guys. The apparently the last rally is going to be held February 3rd at Eagle Pass, Texas. We'll see. We shall see. Anywho, so yeah, this is our first session of Monday Musings. Like I say, I like it. It would add one more regularly scheduled live stream. I mean, like I say, 2024 is going to be insanely crazy. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you guys have been absolutely awesome as always. For everybody who stopped by, Hunter, Loser, Jessica, up in Connecticut, Cam from Flagrant Triggers, Leah, Robert, all y'all are just fantastic. I love you guys. You are just the bestest fans. And thank you for all the support and love you guys give me. So, like I say, we may be doing more of this on a Monday night. And you never know. I might mix it up. Might bring some people on here. It's always fun to do. So, tell you what, you guys have got lives to live, and I want you to go live them. I want you guys to have fun. And I remember, tomorrow night, we are 8 o'clock Eastern, and I'll start working on it after we get done here. We're going to have special coverage of the results of the New Hampshire primary. I think it was Loser who asked who's on the panel. It's myself, Ruben Christopher Haynes from the Dangerous Rhetoric podcast. We're going to have Chad Manley and Christian Watson, and possibly Flagrant Trigger and Crash Mondo if they're available to do it. And I'm going to send them the invite. If they can, awesome. If they can't, not a problem. Later, my man. Good to see you. Good to see you. But for sure, the 5 gentlemen I first mentioned will be here. We'll start at 8 o'clock. We'll go, as long as we feel we need to. It might be an hour and a half, 2 hours. We don't know. But, tell your friends. I mean, there's all kinds of places to hang out on the internet, and I'm not going to object if you go somewhere else. But tell your friends, tell them to come on over. We'd love to talk. Past that, Ruben and I will be doing a wrap-up stream on Wednesday, probably around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And next Saturday, we're back with Front Porch Brunch, and there will be videos and commentary along the way. So thank you guys for stopping in tonight. I genuinely appreciate it. And remember, as always, the words of that great American philosopher Tom T. Hall when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, more money." You guys have a good night.